Hi everybody. Hey, I just want to take a second and welcome you to our team coaching opportunity webinar. My name is Amy Larson. I am a diamond coach on Brandy's team. I've been a coach for about 18 months. Today we're going to share with you on this webinar what it means to be a team Beachbody coach. What the details of being a coach involve, how do you become a coach, and how coaching has actually affected our lives. So I'm going to start first with me and give you a little bit of background on my story. So I am a wife to my wonderful husband, Doug. It's been well over 30 years. I am a mom to Stephanie and Brandy and Christine. And we also have a fur baby, Sandy dog. I have a grandchild, Arrington. Got to give her a little plug there. Our girls are all married, and Doug and I recently moved back to Orlando. So I was born back when my dad was still in the Air Force. I started my life in Indiana. When he got out of the Air Force, we moved back home for my folks, which was a little town called Bellingham in Massachusetts. So I lived there all through my high school years and then exited pretty quick after I graduated. I took advantage of my parents' summer home in New Hampshire, and I moved into that. And that is where I decided to join the Army. So I joined the Army. And my Army career was very short-lived. I had previous injuries in my wrists and my arms that caused my term to be cut short. And I returned to my home in New Hampshire, and then I met my husband. So Doug and I were married by '86. Shortly thereafter, we had Stephanie, and we entered our first big adventure, and we moved to Florida, packed up and went. That was pretty awesome. We lived in Florida for well over 20 years. At the beginning, we did move back and forth a few times up to New England for Doug's career, but our hearts were in Florida, so we kept coming back. Back in that time, I was always very active. I was always walking or running or rollerblading on the streets pretty much every day. I like to exercise. So, well, at some point, I allowed myself to go down a dark path. I was a married woman, but and I had a family, but my actions and my choices showed very little sign of the fact that I was a married woman with a family. So during those years, I made some really bad choices, and I am thankful, I will forever be thankful for a very forgiving God and a forgiving husband. So although the desire for alcohol was gone and our marriage was restored and actually better than it had ever been, and just continues to get stronger year after year, I had found myself depressed. I lacked any desire to do any kind of exercise or eating well. I was one heck of an unhealthy girl. I gained about 50 pounds. I tipped the scales at 180. That's more than I was giving birth to any of our kids. I remember feeling like a blob of poop when our first daughter got married. That's how I felt. I felt that poopy, that crappy, that I didn't even buy a dress to go to her wedding. I was so depressed. I felt very ashamed of myself, the size that I allowed myself to get to, how I wasn't taking care of myself. And it got even worse. I was going on a mission trip, and I had to give my weight to my youth pastor, and I was very ashamed to have to share with him that I weighed 180 pounds because we were getting on one of those really small planes, and every ounce counts. So, well, anyway, in 2009, we headed off to another big adventure. We moved to Virginia to go to college with our youngest daughter, who wanted to go to school in Virginia. So we went up there, and I don't know, a year or so later, another daughter got engaged. And I said, well, I'm not going to do this again. So this time I made some changes. I exercised, I ate better, I lost 20 pounds, and I felt really good. I went to that wedding. I was poured on a beautiful dress, and I felt sexy, and I felt great. Everything was wonderful. Well, then the next adventure we took is we moved to Maryland, and we opened up some frozen yogurt stores. And then I quickly became an owner-operator, and I was working about 90 hours a week. I was always in the store. I lost kind of contact with family and friends. I was very depressed, very lonely. I was always working, and I allowed myself, I got right back up to that 180 pounds, and once again, I felt like crap, and I was depressed. So fast forward a couple of years of that, and in 2 years ago, 2014, in the summer, I was introduced to Beachbody, Shakeology, and PiYo. I signed up right away, and not for the reasons you might think. Quite honestly, I still wasn't interested in doing anything for myself. It was only because one of my daughters just signed up as a coach, and she was trying to build a business, and I wanted to support her, and I said, yeah, maybe I'll lose a few pounds, maybe not, whatever, who cares. I really just wanted to show her support by signing up and buying whatever it was that she was selling. So I signed up and I joined a challenge group. Okay, so 2 months later, I found that I was feeling better, and I had some energy, and I wasn't bloated, and I was like, my system was moving, my cravings were kind of cut loose, and now, mind you, cravings for candy were dropping, and I still worked. We owned yogurt stores, so I was still looking and serving people candy and chocolate all day long, and yet I didn't crave it. I wasn't eating it. So my clothes started to fit loose, and I got on the scale and I lost 15 pounds. That was a happy day, let me tell you. So I called Brandy and I'm shouting it out and I'm telling her, and so excited. And then after a lot of prompting from her, I started to post on Facebook what I was doing, and it didn't take long before people started to notice and compliment me and leave me comments about how good I looked and how happy I looked. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. That made me feel good. So 6 months in, I had my first grandchild. Then it hit me. I felt great. I felt better. I had energy and everything. I'm like, I want to take care of myself. I want to get healthy. I want to be able to enjoy my granddaughter. But more importantly to me, I wanted my granddaughter to be able to enjoy me. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So I just kept doing it, and I kept working out, and I kept eating better, and I kept getting smaller and stronger and toner and firmer and more flexible. I had more energy. My body was moving well. It was all great. And then I started thinking about it and went, Brandy is building a business and she's making some decent income. Stephanie is doing the same thing. And I'm really not building a business. I'm not making any money, and I'm doing all the same things that they're doing. So I said, why not? I was posting and sharing all those things just for accountability and to support them. And I thought, why not? So I said, Brandy, help me out. Get me going here as a coach. I want to build a business. So here we go. Well, that was 18 months ago. So I continue to work on me every day. I do what I do, and I share everything that I do with everybody. You see it. Well, you might not see it, but people see it on Facebook. And I get to help other people. And I help people set goals and crush goals and take care of themselves, and they feel good. And it's a win-win. And, I feel good about what I'm doing. So I've always enjoyed serving other people, and this is actually just the perfect fit for me. I get to laugh and cry and encourage and support and challenge and celebrate with other women every single day. And when I want time off, I take it, because after all, I am the boss. Thank you.